Hi, this is Ennis from Never Stop Trucking. Welcome to the first episode of Weekly Haul. In this first episode, we will talk about how Michigan is trying to implement a new tax on EVs. We're going to talk about Convoy, a large broker, a large 3PL. We will talk about freight downturn reversing, so hopefully that's good news. And at the end, we will talk about how Governor of California, Newsom, wants to implement autonomous trucks on the roads in California. So let's start with Michigan. Michigan eyes miles traveled charge for roads as EVs cut into fuel tax. Michigan will spend more than $5 million this fall to survey 20,000 residents about road usage charges. So they will spend $5 million just to implement this survey about whether they should start this new tax or not. And since they are already talking about it, I think that most likely they will do it because they don't get enough taxes from EVs, namely fuel taxes. Now, what they want to do is very controversial. Because among other things, the survey will gauge residents' willingness to allow GPS systems in their cars to record mileage. Now, right now, Michigan is the sixth highest rate as far as the fuel taxes go, and this is not enough for them still. Now, I have a bad experience in my trucking company because when you do IRP and you have to renew it every year, they will ask you for the mileage from each state, and you have to present them with the trip reports that your drivers are supposed to do for every trip. All right, it's not for a week, it's for every trip. So every trip a driver has to fill out a report where it says which states they traveled through, how many gallons of fuel they bought in that state, whether was it tolls or non-tolls, empty or loaded, all kinds of things for each trip, and that's for every day. All right. And you have to have those, I think it's 5 years back in your files. So if a state of Michigan decides to do an audit, then you will have to compare all those trip reports to what you actually reported to state of Michigan, and they will want to see those trip reports, and they will do the audit. If they find that something is missing, you will be in for high fines and then some taxes that you potentially owe them. And guess what? You will always owe them more taxes because they will always find something. In my case, I was missing some of these trip reports. I had most of them, but I missed some of them, and they still decided to charge me the full rate for everything, like as if I didn't have any of those other trips. So the charge was, I think, around $5,000 just for I think 3 of my trucks. So they will always find something. If they decide to do this and implement these new taxes on your cars, then you will either have to report those taxes every year and they will be able to audit you, and then if they find something wrong, you will have to pay fines, or they will install some kind of GPS feature in your car. Then they will be able to track you no matter where you go, and you can say goodbye to your freedom, because if anyone goes after you, maybe you're in accident or insurance decides, they can they can say that they can't see, like they are not going to turn over the information to anyone else, but most likely if the court orders it, then they will have to. So this you will be tracked this whole time if they decide to do that. And for me, that's really a bad idea. And like I said, I've had bad experience with that. And then Michigan now generates about $1.5 billion in annual fuel tax revenue to help fund road repairs. The road repairs, if you ever travel through Michigan, you will notice that our roads are probably one of the worst roads in United States. You can see a video the other day that I was recording about how to drive near trucks, how to stay safe, and you can look at that video and see all the patches on the roads. The bridges are in bad condition. They already are receiving a lot of these taxes, and our roads are in bad shape. So that's it for that. Let's go to Convoy. If you are a dispatcher, if you are a trucking company, you already probably heard about Convoy. They're fairly new to the game, and they have this different concept. They're kind of like Uber. Their idea is like that you should go online or use the app on your phone, and you can book loads through the app. Now, the concept is really great. It's modern, it's techy, but for trucking companies, this usually, like for me, it doesn't really work. I really want to talk to someone, especially if there is a problem. The Convoy app is only good, same with Uber, because they pay right away after like 1 to 3 days after you finish the load. And a lot of drivers or owner operators like using them because they don't have to use a factoring company. They can get paid fast without any extra fees. So they get 100% of pay really fast. And that's the only thing that I like about Convoy or Uber. Convoy went into the game with funding. Usual brokerage company would start from scratch, and they would make their own way up. Maybe they used to be a trucking carrier at some point of the time, but Convoy was based on funding, and the people that made Convoy really had no idea about trucking. So this is a proof that if you inject money into something, it will work for a while, and you will not be profitable for a while. But guess what? You will never be profitable, because at the end, this is not for you. You can't just inject large sums of money and expect to make it in industry where you really have to have experience before you start doing something, especially on a large scale like Convoy. They went national overnight. They got all these new offices, new employees, new tech. They invested a lot of money, and now they are struggling. One of the news titles that I saw was a Seattle trucking startup Convoy reportedly hires investment bank as it weighs potential M&A deal. Now, this title does not mean anything, like it can mean anything, but if you go through the article, you will see lines such as this. The move comes as Convoy has gone through multiple rounds of layoffs within the past year amid a shaky trucking market. By exploring various M&A options, Convoy wants to increase volume on its platform, helping the company reach profitability. After so many years in business, they want to reach profitability. That's bad news. You're doing something wrong. This is probably not for you. Funded in 2015 and backed by the likes of Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, Convoy aims to increase earnings for truck drivers while reducing costs for shippers by removing inefficiencies in the supply chain. Truck drivers download Convoy's free app to find work without going through brokers who typically use emails and phone calls. While Convoy is just another broker, right? And they've been backed with millions of dollars. But look at this. Trucking marketplace Convoy makes more layoffs, citing customer service efficiency gains. That was in June this year, 2023. A few days before this news, Convoy co-founder Grant Goodale to step down from trucking marketplace startup after 8 years. We know something is wrong with that. And then February this year, trucking startup Convoy lays off employees for third time in past year, and it will close Atlanta office. In October last year, Convoy lays off more employees as a part of a reorganization at the Seattle company. But this one was very interesting. In April last year, Convoy adds CFO, formerly CFO from Cars.com. You go from Cars.com to trucks. Not a big difference. Yes, a big difference. Cars.com sells cars. They're practically sales platform. They do reviews on cars. But this is a trucking industry. This is a brokerage. This is a shipping, logistics, transportation. It has nothing to do with cars, and they hired someone that was a CFO from Cars.com. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Let's go to the next topic. U.S. trucking firms see freight downturn reversing after dark quarter. Okay, so that is good news. The expectations have been largely fueled by U.S. retailers' comments on their improving inventory position and prospects of better inbound container shipments. Companies ranging from Target to Macy's have signaled that they have largely moved past their bloated inventory issues from a year earlier as retailers look to stock up on in-demand products ahead of the crucial holiday season. So they are running supposedly out of inventory, and they will need more. So hopefully this will mean better, at least this last quarter of 2023. And then another line, most of our retail customers have worked through that inventory. So it does look like the freight markets have through from a demand perspective. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. We are still in the worsening part of the down cycle. But by the time we get into next year, we will be returning to growth, said Tim Denier of market research firm ACT Research. So there you have it. Hopefully next year, according to them, not according to me. I really don't know. Let me go to the last topic. Governor Newsom leans toward allowing autonomous trucking in California. So what they have been doing is they have been doing a lot of testing for the self-driving trucks. And now they want to actually go ahead and implement that part of the new era in our lives. As you all know, California, they are coming with all these techie solutions for everything that we are doing. And most of them are really good, helpful, but some of them are not. I don't know what you think about self-driving cars, namely Tesla. But self-driving trucks, that's going to be a big problem. If you are going down like I-10 down in south or something with the open road, maybe just to switch trailers and go from one point to another point, then we can talk about that. But California really does not have that many open highways. They have a lot of traffic, a lot of congestion. And the biggest problem with these trucks that I see is like, how are you going to back up? There is no way to back up in a semi-truck by a robot. What you can do is they can stop somewhere, and a real driver can pick up the trailer and deliver it to the final destination. I understand that, but right now the way it looks, this is not going to be a thing, and this is not safe at all. And it's going to be very expensive. They're trying to save on manpower. They don't want to pay drivers, but in my opinion, this will cost whoever wants to do this, it will cost them way more in the long run. Maybe in the short run, when they don't have to do taxes or benefits for the driver. But in the long run, if you have lawsuits, if you have people that get hurt from these trucks, then it's not going to end well for them. That's my opinion. Let me know in the comments of this video about any of these, what you think about it. And then hopefully you like this new format. Subscribe to the channel. Come back for more. My name is Anis. This is Never Stop Trucking.